Hello everyone and welcome back to English Every Day. In this channel, we'll learn English through inspiring stories, real-life experiences, and amazing journeys of people who change the world. If you are learning English, this is the perfect place for you because you can improve your listening skills, learn new words naturally, and enjoy powerful stories at the same time. Today, we are going to continue the incredible life story of one of the most inspiring people in history, Helen Keller, a woman who could not see the world with her eyes and could not hear the sounds around her, but still managed to touch the hearts of millions of people around the world. This is the final chapter of Helen Keller's journey. So, sit back, relax, and let's discover the amazing story of Helen Keller. Before we continue, let's remember where we stopped in the previous episodes. Helen Keller was born in 1880 in Alabama, United States. When she was only 19 months old, she became seriously ill. After that illness, Helen lost both her sight and her hearing. Suddenly, the beautiful world around her became silent and dark. As a young child, Helen could not understand what was happening. She could not communicate with her family. She could not tell people what she wanted. She felt angry, lonely, and frustrated, but everything changed when a young teacher named Anne Sullivan entered her life. Anne Sullivan was patient and believed that Helen could learn. She started teaching Helen words by spelling letters into her hand. At first, Helen did not understand the connection between the signs and the object around her. But one day, at a water pump, something magical happened. Anne placed Helen's hand under the running water and spelled the word water. Suddenly, Helen understood. She realized that this feeling she had in her hand had a name. It was not just water, it was a word. That moment opened the door to a completely new world. After that day, Helen wanted to learn everything. She learned hundreds of words. She learned to read. She learned to write. She discovered books, ideas, and communication. But Helen's journey was only beginning. She had a dream. She wanted to receive a proper education. She wanted to prove that people with disabilities could achieve great things. For Helen, education was not simple. Every lesson was a challenge. Imagine sitting in a classroom where you cannot see the teacher and cannot hear the explanation. Most students only needed to listen and look at their books, but Helen had to work much harder. She used her fingers to read Braille books. She used her hands to understand words. Anne Sullivan helped her understand lessons by spelling information into her hand. Sometimes studying took Helen much more time than other students. A normal reading assignment could take her many hours, but Helen had something stronger than difficulties. She had determination. She believed that knowledge could change her life. She spent many years studying different subjects. She loved literature because books allowed her to explore places she had never seen. Through books, she could travel to different countries. She could meet different people. She could understand different cultures. After years of hard work and learning, Helen had a new goal. She wanted to go to a university. For many people, going to university is already a big challenge. Students need to study many books, attend classes, write assignments, and pass difficult exams. But for Helen, this journey was much harder. She was a deaf-blind student entering a world designed for people who could see and hear. However, Helen did not see this as an impossible dream. She believed that with patience, support, and hard work, she could achieve it. In 1900, Helen entered Radcliffe College, a famous college for women in the United States. This was a very important moment in her life. She entered a new environment with new teachers, new classmates, and many new challenges. During her university years, Anne Sullivan stayed beside her. and attended classes with Helen and helped her understand the lessons. When a teacher spoke, Helen listened carefully and then spelled the information into Helen's hand. Helen also read many books using Braille. She studied subjects like history, literature, philosophy, and language. Sometimes she felt exhausted because studying required so much energy. She had to spend many more hours than other students to complete the same work, but Helen had a powerful habit. She never focused on what she could not do. She focused on what she could achieve. Every day, she moved one step closer to her dream. Finally, after years of dedication and determination, Helen reached an incredible achievement. In 1904, Helen Keller graduated from Redcliffe College. She became the first deaf-blind person in history to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree from university. This achievement changed the way people thought about disability. Before Helen, many people believed that someone who could not see or hear could not achieve academic success. But Helen proved them wrong. She showed the world that human mind has no limits when a person has courage and determination. Her graduation was not just a personal success, it was a victory for millions of people who faced challenges in their lives. Helen Keller became a writer. After finishing university, Helen wanted to share her story with the world. She wanted people to understand her experiences. She wanted people to know that behind every challenge there is a human being with dreams, feelings, and abilities. So Helen started writing. Writing was not easy for her. She could not see the words on a page, and she could not hear the sounds of language. But she found a way. With the help of special tools and the support of others, she wrote about her life, her thoughts, and her dreams. In 1903, Helen published her famous autobiography, The Story of My Life. This book described her childhood, her relationship with Anne Sullivan, and the moment when she discovered language. The book became very popular. People around the world read her story and felt inspired. They saw a young girl who had faced darkness and silence but still found a way to shine. Helen's writing showed people that hope can exist even during the hardest moments. She continued writing many books and articles throughout her life. Her words gave courage to people who felt hopeless. Helen Keller, a powerful speaker. Helen Keller was not only a writer, she also became a famous speaker. Many people were surprised when they saw her speaking in front of large audiences. They wondered, how can someone who cannot hear speak to thousands of people? But Helen proved that determination can overcome many barriers. She learned how to use her voice. She practiced speaking and worked hard to communicate clearly. When she gave speeches, people listened carefully. They were not only listening to her words, they were listening to her courage. Helen spoke about many important topics. She talked about education. She talked about helping people with disabilities. She talked about equality and creating opportunities for everyone. Her message was simple. Every person deserves a chance to learn, grow, and follow their dreams. After becoming a writer and a speaker, Helen Keller wanted to do something more. She did not want her story to be only about her own success. She wanted to use her voice to help other people. Helen believed that knowledge and kindness could make the world a better place. Because of this belief, she traveled to many countries around the world. During her lifetime, Helen visited more than 30 countries. She met different people, talked with leaders, and shared her message of hope. She visited schools, organizations, and communities. Everywhere she went, people were amazed by her story. They saw a woman who had faced incredible challenges but still chose to help others. Helen visited countries in Europe, Asia, the Middle East, and many other parts of the world. She did not travel just for fame. She traveled because she had a mission. She wanted people to understand that those with disabilities should not be forgotten. She wanted governments and communities to create better opportunities for people who need support. One of Helen Keller's greatest missions was supporting people with disabilities. She knew what it felt like to live in a world where many people did not understand your needs. When Helen was young, many people believed that people who were blind or deaf could not have successful lives. But Helen proved that idea was wrong. She showed that people with disabilities can learn, work, create, and contribute to society. She worked with different organizations to improve education and opportunities for people with disabilities. She visited schools for blind students. She talked with families. She encouraged young people not to give up. Helen often said that the biggest challenge for people with disabilities was not the disability itself. The biggest challenge was when society did not give them opportunities. She believed that every person has hidden abilities. People only need support, education, and a chance to show what they can do. Helen Keller's relationship with Anne Sullivan. Throughout Helen's life, one person remained very special to her. That person was Anne Sullivan. Anne was not only her teacher, she was her guide, her friend, and the person who opened the door to a world. Without Anne's patience and dedication, Helen's life might have been very different. Anne believed in Helen when many others did not understand her. She saw potential in a child who was trapped in silence and darkness. Their relationship became one of the most famous teacher-student relationships in history. Helen always remembered Anne's importance in her life. She knew that Anne had given her the greatest gift anyone could receive, the ability to communicate and understand the world. The final years of Helen Keller's life. Helen Keller continued inspiring people for many years. Even when she became older, she never stopped learning and helping others. She continued writing, giving speeches, and supporting important causes. People from around the world admired her courage. She received many awards and honors because of her achievements and her humanitarian work. In 1968, Helen Keller passed away at the age of 87. Although she was no longer alive, her message continued living. Her story traveled from generation to generation. Millions of people learned about her journey and found motivation in her life. Helen Keller's lasting legacy. Today, Helen Keller is remembered as one of the most inspiring people in history. Her name represents courage, determination, and hope. She showed the world that challenges do not have to stop us. She taught people that success is not about having a perfect life. Success is about continuing forward, even when life is difficult. Helen could not see the beauty of the world with her eyes. She could not hear the sounds of music or human voices, but she understands something very important. The greatest abilities are not always seen with the eyes or heard with the ears. They are found inside the human heart and mind. The final lesson from Helen Keller's story. The story of Helen Keller gives us a powerful lesson. Every person faces difficulties. Some people face problems with education. Some people face financial challenges. Some people struggle with learning a new skill or language. But difficulties do not mean that we should stop. Helen's life teaches us to be patient. It teaches us to keep learning. It teaches us to believe in ourselves. If Helen Keller could enter a world of knowledge from complete silence and darkness, then we can also overcome our own challenges. Maybe you are learning English and sometimes it feels difficult. Maybe you forget new words. Maybe speaking feels scary. But remember Helen Keller. Every small step matters. Every word you learn brings you closer to your goal. Do not give up because progress takes time. Keep practicing, keep learning, keep moving forward, because one day, the small efforts you make today can create a beautiful future. This was the incredible journey of Helen Keller, a girl who could not see or hear the world, but became a voice that inspired the entire world. Thank you for listening to English Every Day. Keep learning English, keep believing in yourself, and remember, your challenges do not define you, but your courage does. Goodbye for now.